morning from Magic Kingdom. It is opening day of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I'm here to ride the ride. I gotta hustle though, because I have exactly 30 minutes till my boarding group ends. But we're also talking about some new things that are coming to Disney Genie Plus. It looks like there's quite the line for the merchandise, so we might try and check that out a little later. Made it in and I have the sweat to prove it. Had like 10 minutes to spare. So today is opening day of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. We actually have already ridden this ride and we already made a full video showing the whole experience. So if you want to see more of like a deep dive of this attraction, I'll have that linked in the description box below. But today, I'm just kind of showing you the flow of how opening day is working. But also there are some really big updates that are coming to Genie Plus in just a month. So I want to talk about how that's going to affect riding this attraction as well as some other things in the park. This attraction can be done one of two ways. You can do the virtual queue, which is what I did this morning, or you can book a Lightning Lane using Genie Plus, or as it will be called, the Lightning Lane Multi-Pass. There are two drops for the virtual queue. There's 7 a.m., which is what I did this morning, and then 1 p.m. If you are doing the 1 p.m. one, you do have to be inside of the park. You may also know that Tron also is operating with a virtual queue, and I did find out this morning you can only do one or the other. You can't do both of them at 7 a.m. So you have to pick one for 7 a.m. and then pick the other for your 1 p.m. I personally would recommend doing Tiana's in the morning and Tron for the 1 p.m. because honestly, Tron is better at night. The virtual queue is also free. So if the virtual queue is basically like the standby line, but you can't just like walk up. You have to book a virtual queue and then you get called for a certain time that you can come and ride the attraction. I got in line at 9:19, so it's 9:34 right now. So we'll see how long the whole queue takes with this regular line. The other option, like I said, is to book a Lightning Lane with Genie Plus or Lightning Lane Multi-Pass. That is the paid option. So you have to pay to book those Lightning Lanes and then you get to essentially skip the line. If you want to learn more a little bit about what all that is, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. I know they've talked about how they're going to be pumping smells into this ride, and I know that it does smell like Beignets, but outside it smells like chocolate for some reason. I don't know if that's because they're pumping the smell in, or if it's just smells like chocolate, but it's like real strong. Make sure you smell when you get in here too, because it smells like beignets. And I did confirm that Tiana's grown some cookie ingredients in the garden. So yes, it did smell like chocolate out there. So about 40 minutes, not too bad.
Hey, y'all! Thanks for helping me book the musicians for our party tonight. Louis, they're on their way.
Any fans out here? Come out, wherever you are!
If you're looking for musicians, you don't have far to go. Tell the people about the Cozy Show.
Oh, that got me right in the eyeball.
Fancy Val can play! Hallelujah! Listen to this! These cats can play!
Oh no.
Please remain fully seated. Your journey here on Tiana's Bayou Adventure will continue in just a moment.
Where did they go?
Don't know.
We have to find them.
Y'all got any big little buddies.
Easy again. Cause the bigger you are, the bigger the splash you'll make at the party. You'll get there in no time. Guaranteed.
There we go. Oh God. Wow. In my eyeballs. Ugh. I can't open my eyes. Woo.
Remember, this party wouldn't be what it is without you.
Please keep your tails in your seats until your boat.
This is the photo pass area where you can get your photos. My photo actually already went directly to my phone, but I want to see it on this little screen to show you. So that'll be the photo spot where you can like scan for your photo. Mine actually already went to my app, so it wasn't popping up, so I didn't feel like waiting since I already got it. Ooh, it looks like the Bayou General store is open. So this is basically like a big fun photo op area. You've got several like backdrops. So this will be where you pick up your souvenir photos. So if you need to purchase memory maker or whatever, but then like if you want the specialty, there's like a really pretty like souvenir printed photo that you can get here. Whew, all right, we made it. We did the ride. It was running pretty smoothly for the most part until there was like 2 drops that we kind of got stuck on for a little bit. A few things that I noticed from the last couple times that I've ridden it is I do think that they bumped up the volume on the animatronics, which I think helps immensely. When we rode it the first time, I noticed it was really hard, like especially the first one with Tiana going up the hill. It was really hard to hear what she was saying, and that kind of sets the whole like story of what the whole ride is. I could hear her much more clearly this time. I do also feel like some of the smells that they were pumping both in the ride and in the queue were very strong. Like you could smell them. They weren't like too strong. It was just like I could smell them. I could actually smell the smells this time, and I definitely got splashed. I noticed that when you are in like the front 2 rows, you definitely get a lot more wet than the back 2 rows. So I would say if that is something like if you're wanting to get more wet or less wet, something to be aware of. I definitely got probably the most wet when I sat in the front and the least wet when I sat in the 3rd row. I was in the 2nd row this time and I got decently soaked. I definitely got water straight in my eyeball a few times. I do want to talk a little bit more about the virtual queue and how exactly that works. As I mentioned, virtual queue is the way that you can stand in the normal standby line for this attraction. It is free to join. You don't have to pay for it, but just know like when you are joining a virtual queue, you're not entering a fast line, you're entering the normal line. So we waited, I think it was right around 40-ish minutes, give or take. And I would say that that's pretty typical as long as the ride is running smoothly the way it should. Sometimes it can be longer, sometimes it can be shorter. It really just depends on a lot of variables. Your other option to ride this ride is to get a Lightning Lane with Genie Plus, or as I'm going to talk about today, Lightning Lane Multi-Pass. So this is the fast line or the skip the line option. This is a paid for thing, so it's not free. You don't get to just skip the line for free, unfortunately. But if this is a ride that's important to you, or maybe you're wanting to try and do it twice in one day, you can try and do the virtual queue and then a lightning lane for this one. Disney has stated that the virtual queue will not necessarily be in place forever, so I do expect it to be around at least for these first several weeks, especially as we're going into 4th of July this week, but it could eventually drop off and just be like a normal standby line. However, if you are trying to join a virtual queue either for this or another ride, I just want to talk about what that process looks like really quick so that you have a good idea, because it can be a little tricky the first time if you don't know what you're doing. The first virtual queue drops at 7 a.m. When you log on to your My Disney Experience app, on the homepage, you're just going to scroll down to where it says virtual queue and click join. From that page, it's going to give you the option to confirm your party. You are going to want to do this before 7 a.m. Eastern, just because it will be gone if you wait until 7. All this means is that you're confirming that everyone who is going to the park is indeed wanting to ride that attraction. So let's say you have 3 people in your party, but one of you does not want to ride Tiana's, then you'll uncheck that person. That's pretty much all that means. Then right at 7 a.m. on the dot, I usually do like a little countdown, like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. And then right at 1, I'm gonna click refresh and then join immediately. That is the best way to get that virtual queue. Those will honestly be gone usually in seconds. So you do wanna be pretty fast about it. From there, it'll either tell you what boarding group you got, or if you are not able to snag one, it'll tell you that as well. That is important to know that not everyone is going to be able to get a virtual queue, but if you aren't able to get the 7 a.m. one, don't worry. There is another one that drops at 1 p.m. However, the catch with that is that you do have to be inside of the park. So if you weren't able to get that 7 a.m., don't worry, just try again at 1, and it's the exact same process. And now I think it's time to go get a little snack. Some new snacks that are here for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And I want to talk about this whole new Genie Plus change that is coming very soon. So it is the actual temperature of hell outside right now. I'm soaked, like not just from the ride, I'm just like soaked because I'm sweating so much. But I did get some snacks. There are some new special snacks. Also, don't mind the music. It was too hot to sit in the sun, so we're doing what we gotta do. Golden Oak Outpost has some special dishes specifically for the opening. They will be available for a limited time. I got the hot honey chicken with sweet potato fries. These look really good. The chicken tenders that they've had there in the past have always been really delicious, so I am excited to try these. And then of course we have Tiana's famous beignets. Now these ones are very different from the ones that you get at Port Orleans French Quarter. They're not Mickey shaped for one thing. These are more like actual beignets. I have been told that apparently, okay, back up. So I've seen pictures of these and apparently they're like hollow. I wasn't sure about that, but apparently that's the actual way that they're supposed to be in New Orleans, I guess. I don't know, whatever. Okay, we're gonna try some of Tiana's famous beignets. Let's see if they're good. They're all right. They're a little dry, which is weird. Yeah, I don't love those, not gonna lie. The bread is very dry, which I would not expect from a beignet that's been fried. Oh well. Let's see if this hot honey chicken is any better. Yeah, that's a good little like nugget tender thing. You can tell that there's a spice, but I wouldn't say that it's spicy. But it's very good, and this is a really good portion for, you know, chicken tenders, sweet potato fries. Got some other things on top. Good news, I found a less loud spot. So after finishing my food, I would give that hot chicken probably like a 7 out of 10. It was pretty good. It wasn't spicy. Like there was a little bit of that taste of heat, but it wasn't spicy at all. But it was really good. And the French fries, the sweet potato fries, were delicious. Beignets, I give like 2 out of 10. I don't know if I just got a bad batch, or what, but mine were very like dry and kind of stale tasting. Not great. I'll stick with my French Quarter beignets. But now is the time to talk about all these new changes and updates that are getting ready to happen. So Genie Plus, beginning on July 24th, will be no more, and it will now be called the Lightning Lane Multipass. So you're going to hear two terms, Lightning Lane Multipass, which is basically replacing Genie Plus, and then you have Lightning Lane Single Pass, which is replacing individual Lightning Lanes. The Lightning Lane Single Pass, pretty much nothing is changing with that. Those are going to work pretty much the same way that they have. But the one thing that is going to be different for both of these options is that you'll be able to book ahead of your trip. So currently with Genie Plus, you can purchase it at midnight, and then you can book your first Lightning Lane starting at 7 a.m. and then you can book your next one after you use that one, and like a whole bunch of other things. With the new system, this is pretty much like the very old FastPass Plus system, where you'll be able to book 3 Lightning Lanes ahead of your park day. Now, don't let this scare you. I know you're probably like, oh my gosh, I just learned all these things about Genie Plus and now it's all different. Don't worry. Generally, strategies are going to work about the same. The only difference is that now, instead of planning the first ride that you want to do, you just need to plan the first 3 rides that you want to do. So let's break this down a little bit more. If you are a Disney Resort guest, that means you're staying at a Disney-owned resort, you're staying at Disney's Swan and Dolphin Resort, or you're staying at Shades of Green, you will be able to book your first 3 Lightning Lanes 7 days before your check-in date of your trip. Additionally, on that day, you'll be able to book those first 3 Lightning Lanes for each day of your trip. This is exactly how the old FastPass Plus system worked. The only difference was that you were able to book at like a different time period that was earlier. We don't need to worry about that. If you're staying in a Disney resort, Disney Swan and Dolphin or Shades of Green, you can book 7 days in front of your check-in date. Everybody else, so this means you're not staying on Disney property and you just have Disney's tickets, you are an annual pass holder, you're a cast member, you have any other type of ticket that is not associated with a Disney resort, you can book those first 3 Lightning Lanes 3 days before the day that you plan on visiting the park. So again, the biggest difference is that if you're staying on Disney property, it's 7 days, but you also get to book all of your trip all at once. If you're not staying on Disney property, it's 3 days ahead of time and you have to do it for each day. Let's say I have 3 days in a row that I am planning on visiting the parks. I will have to get up and book those 3 Lightning Lanes for each one of those days, 3 days in a row. Tracking with me, hopefully that's not too confusing. And if it is, don't worry, I do have a printable cheat sheet of that you can get down in the description box below, as well as a full rundown of my guide of how this new system works that you can purchase in my shop. There are some additional rules when it comes to which Lightning Lanes you can book for those first 3. For Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Epcot, you are going to have rides grouped into 2 different groups. You have your Tier 1 group, which those are going to be like the most popular rides. For example, in this park, that's going to be rides like Tiana's, Big Thunder Mountain, Space Mountain, things like that. Then you've got Tier 2. Those are going to be all your like less popular attractions. So usually you're going to have like a small handful from Group 1 and then all the rest in Group 2. When you make those selections, you'll be able to select 1 from Group 1 and 2 from Group 2. Or if you want, and you've got like little kids and you're not riding any of the Tier 1 rides, you can pick 3 from Tier 2. Again, this is very, very, very similar to how the old FastPass Plus system worked. They had this exact same thing implemented. There's just some new attractions that are available now than there were back then. Now fast forward to your actual park day. So you have these 3 Lightning Lanes. Does that mean that that's all that you get to do all day? No, don't worry. So once you use the first Lightning Lane, then you will be able to book another one. And then it pretty much works just like normal Genie Plus, where you book 1 at a time for the rest of the day. So once you use one, you can book another one. Once you use one, you can book another one. This does mean that the idea of stacking Lightning Lanes is going away, unfortunately. So You will have to kind of plan around that a little better, but something that I do like is that you are going to be able to pick your return times instead of it just being the next available, so you have a little bit more control over your schedule. And even though you can't stack, this is still a good benefit because let's say it's your travel day and you're not coming until later in the afternoon or evening, you can book those 3 lightning lanes for later in the day when you plan on being here. It's kind of almost like stacking, but you're not having to use the 120-minute rule. Another big difference is that there will still be variable pricing, but you're going to notice that you're only going to be able to pick the park. So you're going to pick from one of the 4 parks. You're not going to have a multi-park option. However, if your ticket does include park hopper, you can still use the system with park hopping. You just have to wait to book your lightning lanes for your second park until you've used the first lightning lane. So that means I would still recommend using your 3 lightning lanes in the first park that you plan on visiting. But once you use that first lightning lane of the day, you can go ahead and start booking rides for the next park that you plan on visiting. Now, this is just kind of a general rundown on how this system will work. Again, this doesn't roll out until July 24th, so there are going to still be some questions up in the air that we won't totally be able to see until we can get in there and actually use the system. We do hopefully plan on testing it out, at least to show you kind of how logistic-wise it will work. I do know that if you have a trip planned within like those first few days within the 24th and you're staying on Disney property, I don't believe that Disney's going to be able to run both Genie Plus and Lightning Lane Multi Plus at the same time, so you will probably still have to wait until the 24th to book your Lightning Lanes. Again, that will change. If it does, I will make sure to have that updated in my little cheat sheet so that you know. It is also important to note that when you can book those lightning lanes is exactly the same as it is now. It's 7 a.m. Eastern. Again, just 3 days or 7 days, depending on which category you fall in. Again, I do want to do a full rundown and actually test the system out when it goes live. So make sure you hit me up with any questions that you may have about the new system so that I can try and address those in that video. I know it's a lot of change, but I do think that this takes the best things from FastPass Plus and the best things from Genie Plus and kind of marries them together. And I do think that this will be a positive change in the long run. Hopefully this will help with increased availability. We will have to see. I do think that when you stay on property, it is a really, really huge perk because you do get access to those lightning lanes before everybody else. I do think that lightning lanes are still going to go pretty quickly, especially for those prime times. So you are still going to need to make sure you are ready to go at 7 a.m. just like you are with Genie Plus. Take a little break. Now I'm headed back up to Main Street to see if the merchandise chaos has calmed down a little bit. As of today, all of the merchandise for the new attraction is in the Emporium, but here in the next several days, the Critter Co-op will open and you'll be able to find all the Tiana's merchandise there. Also, I think it's sprinkling. It's probably a good time to go inside for a bit. All right, going into Crazy Town. Let's see what kind of fun stuff we can find. First, I'm seeing some cute hoodies. I do like that, actually. That's very cute. Oh, it's actually a little zip-up hoodie. That's nice. I also love the Spirit jersey. It's so cute. A lot of this stuff they did tease online already, but I love seeing it in person. Oh, but let's be real. These little plushies are everything. Oh my god, these are so cute. Look at him. And his little mouth. Oh my god, these are adorable. We do have a lounge fly. That is really pretty. These have gotten a lot of attention. So these are kind of like little shoulder pals. So it's a little firefly, lightning bug, whatever you call him. That he can sit on your shoulder, but you can also carry him around in his cute little mason jar. I think it'll like light up and everything too. And I've heard that these will like interact with other ones. It is very cute. We've got some jewelry. I adore these earrings. I might need some of those. Emerald, so those are 21. And they have a matching necklace and bracelet too. These are so pretty. I don't know where the actual pins are, but I found one lying here. That's really pretty. And it is ride specific. 20 bucks. Not too bad. Found the other 2 pins. So, oh, I like that one. That one's fun. And then there's a Mama Odie one. So it looks like these are going to be just like the open edition pins. And then the other one I just showed you is going to be the limited edition pin. Found some Mama Odie's hot sauce. I did find one more pin, and I think this is the one that I'm going to get. So this is the pass holder exclusive. I love that this one has Tiana Lewis and some of the critters. And this one's also $19.99. So this is what I'm getting today. But it is like Chaos City in here, so you can look at some of the other blog sites to see all the merchandise. But that at least gave you a little taste. I'm going to go buy my pin now. Well, that was chaotic. I think it's about to rain. It's really dark out here. But I did get my pin, so success. We'll go home and put that on the board. Ooh, it actually cooled off a bit because it's getting ready to rain. It will not be that chaotic in there all the time. It's always crazy on opening day. So whenever you come and visit and get to see everything, I would go check out the Critter Co-op because that will probably be open by then. There was a lot of other stuff in there that looked really cool. They had all the like special like spices and things that you could get. There was a ton of people around there, so I couldn't get close enough, but there was a lot of really good merchandise. They did a good job. I really like my pin, but like I said, it's getting ready to storm, so I think that's going to do it for me today.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that's it for me today. Go create your ever after.